Tonight on Y News, Malacañang assures President Rodrigo Duterte will be the first to obey his recently signed Safe Spaces law against gender-based sexual harassment. The United States of America vows to strengthen cooperations with the Philippines in terms of defense, security, and cooperation on the administration's infrastructure program. Pag-asa raises signal number 2 as Tropical Depression Falcone intensifies into a tropical storm. A Surigao del Sur town now under state of calamity following a 5.5 magnitude quake. And learn about this mobile application that helps people know if their location is at risk for volcanic eruptions, tsunamis, and other hazards. Good evening. Malacañang assures President Rodrigo Duterte will be the first one to obey the Safe Spaces Law or the Anti-Bastos Law. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
Since the President signed that law, it means that he recognizes the need for that law. And since he is the chief enforcer of all laws of the Philippines, he will be the first one to obey the law.
This is the assurance of Malacañang after President Rodrigo Duterte signed Republic Act No. 11313 or the Safe Spaces Act on April 17, 2019. This is also known as the Anti-Bastos Law. It can be noted that the chief executive has been criticized by women's groups numerous times for his controversial statements. The palace also insists the president just cracks jokes but does not mean to offend. The official also explained the anti-bastos bill in connection to the statements of President Duterte, which were criticized by the groups of women.
It's okay.
That particular law is penal in nature, meaning criminal in nature. In other words, the subject offended party must be offended personally by an offender.
Yes.
Pero kung general na nagkikwento, ma-open ka, paano mo sasabihin na ikaw ang tinutukoy nun? May problema ka doon. How can you even charge him with what? How did I offend you?
Okay.
Did I refer to you? O paano ka na? Dismiss ka agad yun. Kailangan personal yun eh. Crime is personal to the offender.
When asked if the president is expected to lessen his jokes on women because of the anti-bastos law, the palace says the public must wait and see since the president is full of surprises. Malacañang also assures anyone who is offended by the president can file cases after his term.
Then any person can sue him for that violation. If you argue that, well, he is immune, well, you can always sue him after the presidency. No one is above the law, including this president, and he always tells us that.
The law prohibits catcalling, groping, statement of sexual comments, and suggestions against women or members of the LGBT community and other gender-based harassments. Online sexual harassment is also a violation of this law. Violators may be penalized with a 6,000 to half a million peso fine, community service or arrest of 6 days to 6 months. Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue, Malacañang.
The bilateral strategic dialogue between the United States and the Philippines has concluded. The senior officials of the two countries tackled the strengthening of ties in terms of defense and security and cooperation on the administration's infrastructure program. Nel Maribuhok will tell us why.
The Philippines and the United States of America held their 8th bilateral strategic dialogue from July 15 to 16 in Manila. The agenda focused on the strengthening of ties between the two countries, particularly on defense and security, economy, and fight against terrorism.
From military cooperation to support for the rule of law and ways to expand trade and investment ties.
The U.S. also wants to boost its participation in the Duterte administration's Build, Build, Build. Ambassador Kim and Philippine Ambassador to the United States, Jose Manuel Romualdez, also discussed security issues on the West Philippine Sea and the Mutual Defense Treaty. The two ambassadors assured the discussion on the Mutual Defense Treaty continues.
We talked about various aspects of the Mutual Defense Treaty, and as Ambassador Romualdez suggests, I think those discussions will continue.
It can be noted that the Department of National Defense have said they want to review the provisions of the PH-US Defense Treaty if this is applicable to the recent challenges in the region. According to Philippine Ambassador Romualdez, the continuation of the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement is clear for both parties.
The only thing that we had on the discussion is that we will continue to just cooperate. We will continue the EDCA. We will try to strengthen that.
The bilateral strategic dialogue between the Philippines and US is the principal forum to tackle the cooperation between the two countries on economy and security. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue, Makati City.
Tropical depression Falcone has intensified into a tropical storm. The Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration, or PAGASA, said on Tuesday. In its weather bulletin issued at 5 p.m., PAGASA said the storm was last spotted at 335 kilometers east-southeast of Tuguegarao City, Cagayan. Falcone is moving west at the speed of 30 kilometers per hour, with maximum sustained winds of 65 kph near the center and gustiness of up to 80 kph, the State Weather Bureau said. Tropical cyclone warning signal number 2 has been raised over northeastern part of Cagayan, including Babuyan Group of Islands, while signal number 1 is up in Batanes, the rest of Cagayan, northern portion of Ilocos Norte, northern portion of Abra, Apayao, Kalinga, Isabela, eastern portion of Mountain Province, and the eastern portion of Ifugao. Falcone is expected to closely approach or make landfall over Babuyan Batanes Islands area Wednesday evening and may exit the Philippine area of responsibility on Friday. Authorities in the Municipality of Carmen in Surigao del Sur declare a state of calamity after a strong earthquake hit the town. Affected residents in Carmen have received financial aid but are still worried about how to earn a living as their livelihood has been affected. Raymond Octubre will tell us why.
The Municipal Council of Carmen, Surigao del Sur has declared a state of calamity following the 5.5 magnitude earthquake that hit the province last Saturday. Based on the latest data from Surigao del Sur Provincial Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office, damages in the municipality caused by the quake amounts to over 2.1 million pesos. It's the second mostly hit municipality next to Madrid, which is suffering the most damages. Abel de Guzman, the chief of Surigao del Sur PDRRMO, says Carmen can use their quick response fund to focus more on rehabilitation damaged structures.
Gumikan sa limitation sa ilahang DRRM funds, magamit nila tong quick response fund katong 30% from the 5% katong local DRRM fund. Focus more on dili lang siya response but on the others katong rehabilitation sa katong mga damaged infra.
Meanwhile, the provincial government has given 2,000 pesos each to over 400 families in the municipalities of Carmen and Carrascal. Antonio Dayog's family is among those who receive aid, but they are now living under the roof of their relatives. Antonio says they don't know how to start again after a collapsed house fell on their tricycle, which they used to earn a living.
Hindi naman yung lindol na yung paganyan. Seconds lang yun, parang 1 seconds nga lang siguro nga yun. Hindi ko na alam, sumigaw ako dun sa loob sa anak ko, gawa na yung anak ko tumalsi kasi.
The Department of Social Welfare and Development or DSWD Caraga have distribute over 700 food packs for residents in Carmen. The DSWD await requests for food packs from the other municipalities affected by the earthquake.
Yung mga LGU natin, pag mag-request sila, anytime po makapagbigay tayo kasi meron naman po tayong mga preposition ng mga family food pack.
Other towns are still considering if they will declare a state of calamity in their localities. Raymond Octubre, UNTV News and Rescue, Surigao del Sur.
A warning agency launches a web application that can show hazards in different parts of the Philippines. Ray Pelayo will tell us why.
Knowing what specific hazards your location is facing is now just a click away. The Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology or PHIVOLCS, in coordination with the Mines and Geosciences Bureau, PAGASA and the National Mapping and Resource Information Authority launches the Hazard Hunter web application. The multi-hazard application can show threats from volcanoes, earthquakes, and flooding. Just go to the website hazardhunter.georisk.gov.ph and the homepage will immediately show the Philippine map. The left side of the menu shows the bars labeled seismic, volcanic, and hydrometeorological. To know the hazards, double-click the area of your choice and the app will immediately calculate and show the assessment result in the right side. As an example, Baseca compound in Manila City, which has a population of almost 60,000 based on the 2015 census. Based on the assessment result using the app, it is 12 km far from the West Valley Fault and intensity 8 can be felt in the area due to earthquake. The village is prone to liquefaction because it is near Manila Bay. Tsunami may also reach up to 4 meters in case an earthquake occurs offshore. There is no threat from an active volcano because the distance of Taal is about 58 kilometers. Flooding can reach 2 meters high and will last for 3 days. Typhoon can inundate up to 4 meters of storm surge. There is no threat from a rain-induced landslide in the area. Department of Science and Technology Undersecretary and PHIVOX OIC Renato Soldum said through Hazard Hunter, the public and local government units can now plan to mitigate the possible impact of the identified hazards in their areas like loss of lives and damage on properties.
Hindi naman masama na may hazards dyan. What is important is that the hazard is recognized so that the developer can develop approaches to lessen the impact, to mitigate the possible impact.
The official cited what he did in his residence after knowing the hazards in the area.
Anong ginawa ko? Tinaasan ko yung bahay. Ginawa kong 3 floors para hindi ako mamatay sa baha. Inayos ko yung foundation ng building para sa shaking and liquefaction. So mga ganong klaseng real-life application magagamit.
The agency plans to release the mobile application version of the Hazard Hunter before the year ends. Ray Pelayo, UNTV, News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The BMPI Talent Center's This Is the Time concert series began last Sunday to showcase BMPI talents. Let's find out one of them as Nino Armilio reports.
16 years of friendship, more than a decade of music. LJ on vocals, Andrew on lead guitar, Jesser, the drummer, and Aldrin, the keyboardist.
Here we go! Plethora po yung name ng banda. Ito po ay nakuha namin sa Old English Dictionary, means overabundance, abundant, nag-uumapaw.
The musicians who hail from Cavite say they are proud to be part of the great original Pinoy music or OPM scene.
Siyempre, pinopromote namin yung OPM. Kaisa po yung plethora sa pag-promote po ng OPM na kasama po ni Kuya Daniel na itinatayo po yung OPM music. Hindi lang po dito sa buong Pilipinas, kundi sa all over the globe. Ito pong concert na This Is Our Time, sobrang laking pagkakataon po sa amin na ma-showcase po namin, mapakita po namin sa marami pong tao na kung ano po yung plethora before, ano po yung nabago sa amin, ano po kami ngayon.
And during the opening of the BMPI Talent This Is the Time concert series at the La Verdad Christian College Apalit Campus Auditorium, plethora took center stage to entertain the crowd with rock and alternative music. And as the band performed their latest single, Hindi Na Bale, LJ held back his tears, remembering the transformation they treaded from being underground to a now blessed and up and rising band. Even some members of the audience went emotional, moved by the heartwarming song. With patience and perseverance, they have entered a doorway of lots of opportunities, ready to give more entertainment to the world.
Kung wala po sila, hindi po lalo kami mas titibay. Hindi po, walang mag-iingay sa amin sa audience. Kaya maraming salamat sa inyo lang.
Iniimbitahan po namin kayo na patuloy na suportahan yung banda namin. At saka po, Power B po natin yung hindi nabali.
Watch Plethora together with Brads, Rhea Basco, and the Wishfuls in their This Is the Time concert series. Just visit the BMPI Talent Center Facebook page for schedules and updates. Minya Emilio, UNTV News and Rescue.
Good evening. The National Bureau of Investigation nabbed 8 Chinese nationals and a Filipino over alleged kidnapping and illegal detention in Las Piñas City. Meanwhile, more than 10 National Center for Mental Health officials are charged over anomalous construction and procurement of the hospital's Pavilion 6 extension. Mai Bermudez will tell us why.
Kidnapping, serious illegal detention, and violation of Firearms Ammunition Regulation Act were filed against a group of individuals who electrocuted their victims using this electroshock weapon while being detained in this house in Las Piñas City. The group's modus operandi, lending money to foreigners to play casino in the Philippines, and once they lose, victims are forced to pay in double.
Ang isa pong ginagamit nila itong pangurente nila. Sa mga kinidnap nila. Tsaka kumisan, inaano ng kutsilyo yung likod. Tapos pakikita sa kamag-anak nila, bibidyohan nila, pakikita nila sa kamag-anak nila sa China. Siyempre yung mga kamag-anak nila na nasa China, maaawa dun sa kanilang kamag-anak, magbabayad na sila. Yung babae, sabi pinaguhubad daw siya, pero hindi man siya nire-rape. Pinaguhubad lang, kukuha na ng video, ipapadala sa ano.
These Chinese nationals are victims of kidnapping and illegal detention according to the National Bureau of Investigation or NBI.
Yan ang loko-loko usapan yun. Kung hindi loko usapan, siyempre wala pa hiram.
Transaction happens in Chinese banks. That's why it becomes harder for authorities to trace such lawless operations.
Pagka napautang na 100,000, ang singil po nun, ang bayad po nun, hindi po halos po yun, sisigilin na 300,000. Kung isa naman yung utang na 1 milyon, sisigilin ng 2 milyon. Ganun po hindi agi pong overprice yung siyempre yung kanilang paniningil.
The NBI arrested 8 Chinese nationals and 1 Filipino national during their operation on Thursday last week. NBI operatives also seized a caliber .38 revolver, a caliber .45 gun, and cash during the operations. But the Filipino suspect denied involvement in the illegal activities.
Tagaluto lang nila ako, sir.
Meanwhile, 40 National Center for Mental Health officials were charged before the Office of the Ombudsman over anomalous procurement and construction of the hospital's 60 million pesos worth of Pavilion 6 Payward project. Aside from the irregularities discovered, the construction of the structure is incomplete, though the contractor has already issued a certificate of completion.
Napag-alaman natin sa investigation na yung company, which is Octant Construction Company, is one of the respondents, Ms. Clarita Avila, was actually an incorporator. And take note that Ms. Clarita Avila is the head of the General Services Division, which has direct supervision over the engineering section of the hospital.
The Department of Health, for their part, says they are willing to remove officials involved in anomalies.
The Department of Health will not hesitate to pluck weeds from within its ranks and bring them to justice as it presses on with the universal health care agenda.
14 individuals are facing charges for violations of RA 3016 or the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act, malversation of public funds, falsification of documents, and serious dishonesty. Mai Bermudez, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
Some netizens expressed their criticisms on the Kusina ni Isko food truck spotted last Monday at the Bonifacio Shrine. This after Manila's city mayor ordered the removal of politicians' names that appear on government projects in the city. April Sinadoza explains why.
Some netizens took to social media to express their dismay concerning the Kusina ni Isko food truck, which was spotted serving free rice porridge during a flag ceremony at the Bonifacio Shrine on Monday. These critics claim the truck isn't contrary to Manila Mayor Isko Moreno's order of names of politicians that can be seen in public schools in the city. Netizen Miss Maggie asked if the mayor used his money to fund the said truck. The netizen also mentioned what the mayor earlier said, that he doesn't want politicians' names posted on their projects. In a tweet, the Manila Public Information Office or MPIO says no public fund was used for kusina ni Isko. The MPIO says the food trucks were donated by the mayor's friends and supporters who wanted to place the mayor's name on the vehicle. Meanwhile, Mayor Isko confirms he didn't spend his money on the project nor money from the Manila City government.
I thank that group of individuals who are really maybe inspired, no, doing so. But one thing for sure sa ating mga kababayan, hindi siya pera ng pamahalaan, hindi ko rin siya pera. Siguro gusto lang magkawang-gawa.
He also called on the donors of the said project to remove both his name and photo.
I already called the organization na tanggalin yung pangalan ko. Anyway, discretion naman nila yon, whether they put my name or not, no? Because that's their money. But more than anything else, one way or another, I would rather listen to the people and believing that, medyo may off nga. And there's nothing wrong with that in the first place.
In his tweet, he even offered suggestions to change the food truck's name, such as Kusina ng Maynila or Kusina para sa Batang Maynila. April Senedoza, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
The Lagusnilad underpass in Manila City is now free from trash and illegal vendors. This after the Manila City government conducted clearing operations by removing stalls on the said underpass. Earlier on Tuesday, the City Hall personnel scrubbed the tiles of the underpass and removed the dirt on the floors. The cleanup operations along the underpart is the latest in the series of clearing operations conducted in Manila. Makabayan congressmen seek a congressional investigation after the Department of Education suspended over 50 Lumad schools in Davao region. Grace Casan tells us why.
For Makabayan congressmen, the Department of Education's order to suspend the operation of 55 Lumad schools in Region 11 is an act that discriminates Lumads. DepEd order of suspension also affect about 11,000 students. Because of this, Makabayan congressmen filed a resolution asking the House of Representatives to investigate DepEd's measure.
Ang order na iyon ng DepEd to suspend these 55 schools ay walang in violation of the basic norms of due process.
DepEd 11 have earlier stated that they suspend the operation of Salugpungan, Tatanoig Kanugan Community Learning Center based on the recommendation of National Security Advisor Secretary Hermogenes Esperon Jr. Allegedly, the school uses Lumad students in participating in anti-government rallies, and students are taught to fight against the government.
Number one, allegedly, they do not teach in accordance with the guidelines set forth by the department. Number two, allegedly, they're using the children in rallies. And number three, they teach the children with ideologies that advocate against government.
DepEd head office has no statement as of today if they're willing to cooperate should the lower chamber of Congress begin the probe on the issue. Grace Casan, UNTV News and Rescue, House of Representatives.
The owner of the fishing boat rammed by a Chinese vessel at sea on June 9 continues her call to the Philippine government for aid. Vincent Arboleda will tell us why.
It has been more than a month since a Filipino fishing boat was rammed by a Chinese vessel near Recto Bank in the West Philippine Sea. To assist the Filipino fishermen, the Philippine government extended financial aid and gave fiberglass boats for them to gradually recover through Department of Agriculture Secretary Manny Piñol upon his visit to Occidental Mindoro days after the incident. But for the owner of the fishing boat FB Gemver 1, the promised financial help for the repair of the damaged seacraft is taking longer than they've expected. Maria Fe de la Torre calls on Secretary Piñol to give the promised assistance, which amounts to 2 million pesos.
Inaasahan lang namin yung pinangako siguro ni Piñol na yung sinabi niya na magbibigay siya at nagbigay na rin siya ng date na sabi niya ay June 28. Pero nagtataka lang kami bakit July na, wala pa rin. Pero kung maibigay po sana yun ni Sir Piñol, sana siguro po maging sapat siguro. Na makompleto na yung Jimber na mabalik sa dati.
According to De La Torre, they are anxious after hearing that Secretary Piñol submitted a resignation letter to President Rodrigo Duterte while they are yet to receive financial assistance from the Agriculture Department. For now, they are using the help they received from the Filipino-Chinese businessman in repairing their boat.
Sa government naman, sir, siguro masasabi ko wala pa naman binigay ang government sa atin. Ang nagbigay lang po ay yung Pilchay nga, yung sinasabing 1.2. Pero yung 1.2 na yun, sir, ay hindi ko rin po masasabi kung sapat na.
They also call on the President not to give them justice for what happened to their boat, but for financial help.
Yung sa amin lang, ano lang siya, yung mabigyan lang kami ng tamang sa panggasto, siguro sa financial assistant na para mabuo lang namin ulit at mabalik kami sa dati. Wala naman kami, sir, inihingi na na katarungan o mga mga kaso-kaso. Kasi lahat po kami diyan kumukuha ng ng source of income.
Secretary Piñol, for his part, in a social media post, stated that he will fulfill his promise. Vincent Arboleda, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
The speech of President Rodrigo Duterte for his State of the Nation Address, or SONA, on July 22, 2019 will be short, according to Malacañang. Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelos says the chief executive will not mention his achievements for the past year since these have been discussed in the pre-SONA events of his administration. The chief executive has mentioned he will lecture on the constitutionality of his decision to allow China to fish within the country's exclusive economic zone.
Hindi naman niya sinabi. Sinabi niya, short lang. You count from the 2 hours, 1, 2, 3. Baka maging 3.
The Department of Transportation, or DOTR, has tapped the biggest Japanese supplier of train sets to be used for the Philippine National Railways, or PNR, Tutuban-Malolos projects that are expected to be completed in 2021. Joanano tells us why.
Officials from the Department of Transportation, or DOTR, and representatives from the Japan Transport Engineering Company, along with the local partner Sumitomo Corporation, signed a contract today for the manufacture and delivery of new trains for the Philippine National Railways, or PNR, Tutuban-Malolos project. J-Trek is the biggest supplier of passenger rail cars in Japan, which include Shinkansen, or high-speed bullet train. The company also supplies train sets to other countries. 13 train sets, each composed of 8 train cars from Japan, have been ordered, which is funded through the Official Development Assistance from the Japan International Cooperation Agency, or JICA. Each train set can accommodate more than 2,200 passengers per trip. Under the contract, the new trains are set to be delivered in the Philippines in the 4th quarter of 2021. But in his speech earlier, Transportation Secretary Arthur Tugade said that he wants to fast-track the project and urged the Japanese supplier to deliver it ahead of the target period.
And we have agreed to do a fast-track mechanism so that the trains committed to be delivered on the 4th quarter of 2021 shall be delivered no later than the 3rd quarter of 2021. I have promised the President that we will have the partial operability.
The government targets to finish the PNR Tutuban-Malolos project by 2021. Once completed, the current 1.5-hour travel time from Tutuban in Manila to Malolos, Bulacan will be reduced to 35 minutes with more than 300,000 expected ridership a day.
By doing this train, which has been a plan and a dream for so many years, we can now add and assure our Filipino people, not only in Central Luzon, of a comfortable life.
The PNR Tutuban-Malolos is a 37.6-kilometer railway project with 10 stations. These include Tutuban, Solis, Caloocan, Valenzuela, Maykawayan, Marilao, Bukawe, Balagtas, Giginto, and Malolos. Joanano, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
More than 100 mothers joined Serbisyong Kasangbahaይ's milk letting activity as the UNTV program celebrates its 3rd year anniversary. Aiko Miguel will tell us why.
Serbisyong Kasangbahay, in partnership with the Quezon City General Hospital, organized a milk-letting activity for moms to support the advocacy to provide milk for babies who need it. Over 100 mothers joined the activity. Two of them are Joanna and Donna, who shared that they are happy to help feed children through their milk.
Unang-una po nakakatipid kasi syempre sa mahal ng bilihin ngayon. Tapos yung benefits niya sa akin is yung gatas ng bata, protection niya sa sakit, protection ko sa sakit. Tapos po yung malinis, tapos hindi ka na nangangailangan ng mga kung ano nung gamit pag-aalis ka, siya lang, tapos gamit mo, ganun po. Opo. Hindi po sakitin pati.
Hindi po siya ganun na magkakasakit agad. Healthy si baby, tsaka malaking tulong din po kasi matipid po.
Quezon City General Hospital has been organizing milk-letting activities since 2015. Thanks UNTV and Serbisyong Kasangbahay because of the milk donated to them to be given to premature babies and mothers who lack milk.
Sana magtuloy-tuloy pa yung partnership natin na to in the years to come dahil very successful yung first na milk-letting activity ng Serbisyong Kasangbahay. Ito pong mga naibigay niyong donasyon na gatas ay ibibigay namin doon sa mga nangangailangan na bata.
The milk-letting activity is part of Serbisyo Kasangbahay's third-year anniversary celebration. The Department of Health, for their part, encouraged Filipino mothers to champion milk-letting advocacy. DOH Undersecretary Eric Domingo explains there are situations in which some mothers have a hard time breastfeeding, such as in disaster situations or when a mom is sick and is not allowed to breastfeed her baby.
So in these cases, talagang ina-advocate natin yung pag-share ng mother's milk. And we want to make sure na yung mga baby na hindi makaproduce yung mothers nila ng gatas, mabigyan ng tamang nourishment at protection from sakit na nabibigay ng mother's milk.
And to complete the most significant news for this day, Y News continues. Here are the top stories. The Department of Health, or DOH, today visited several schools in Manila City and in Pasig City. The local chief executives of the two cities support the Health Department's school-based immunization program. Aiko Miguel tells us why.
Among the priorities of newly elected Manila City Mayor Isko Moreno and Pasig City Mayor Vico Soto is the health of school children in their vicinities. For Mayor Isko, it is important to have children immunized, especially those who have limited access to health care, often unprotected against diseases.
In line what the Secretary of Health is doing, yung pagiging active ng DOH, addressing healthcare, the same thing, sabayan na namin sila.
Well, according to Pasig City Mayor Vico Soto, he will prioritize primary health care.
Isa sa mga pinaka-importanting gagawin natin ay yung pagpapalakas ng ating mga barangay health centers para po mapalakas din po ang ating primary health care. So, bago pa pupunta sa ospital, bago pa lumala ang mga sakit, dun pa lang sa barangay health center dapat na naasikaso.
Today, Department of Health Secretary Francisco Duque III visited several schools in Manila City and Pasig City for their school-based immunization program. In Ramon Magsaysay National High School, Manila, the DOH target to immunize a total of 100 grade 7 students against measles, rubella, tetanus, and diphtheria, while they aim to give anti-measles shots to a total of 1,500 grade 1 to 7 students in Pasig Elementary School. Selected grade 4 female students will also be given shots of human papilloma virus or HPV vaccine. The Secretary assures the public that the vaccines used in immunization given to students are effective and have been tested.
That all of the imported health products such as drugs, medicines, and vaccines undergo FDA clearance. Ito po ay dumadaan sa mahigpit na pagsusuri ng ating pong FDA na ayon po sa mga pamantayan.
Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Pasig City.
The Department of Trade and Industry wants to boost the country's profitability of micro, small, and medium enterprises, or MSMEs, by helping them become smarter entrepreneurs. The agency also believes that the Ease of Doing Business Act will greatly benefit MSMEs. Harleen Delgado explains why.
Arnold de Guzman has been in the business industry for almost 30 years. Started as a shoe dealer to a franchisee of various products, Arnold says it was his courage that he greatly invested on in engaging in entrepreneurship at a young age.
I was lucky enough to start young. Kasi pag bata ka, wala ka naman i-risk eh. And then you study. No? While you're growing, then you study na ano pa bang pwedeng natin gawin para lumaki.
Arnold is one of the Filipino entrepreneurs who participated in the National Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise or MSME Summit 2019 of the Department of Trade and Industry or DTI. According to DTI Secretary Ramon Lopez, they want to boost the MSMEs in the country by helping them become smarter entrepreneurs.
Education, the training, more know-how, mindset change, which is the mindset of continuously innovating.
Even President Rodrigo Duterte's common law wife, Janet Avancenia, who is the guest honor of the event, shared how her experience as an entrepreneur changed her life.
I have been with a donut company, franchisee of a donut company, for almost 22 years. Kahit na pakunti-kunti yan, 22 years has provided you a decent living, mabili mo yung gusto ng anak mo, makapaglagay ka ng pagkain sa lamesa sa pamilya mo. I don't have to call my husband, okay, can I buy this?
The DTI also believes that the upcoming signing of the Implementing Rules and Regulations, or IRR, of the Ease of Doing Business Act will greatly help the MSMEs in the country. In the latest data of DTI, there are more than 900,000 MSMEs, equivalent to 99.59% of the business establishments in the country. President Duterte signed the Republic Act 11032, or the Ease of Doing Business and Efficient Government Service Delivery Act last year in a bid to solve the withstanding problem of bureaucratic red tape in the government. Under the law, the maximum processing time for simple applications in government agencies should be finished within 3 days, 7 days for complex applications, and 20 days for highly technical applications. With this, the agency calls on the public to report to Anti-Red Tape Authority or ARTA those government employees who will violate the law.
Assured yung mga kababayan natin na may tatakbuhan sila pagka nadidelay yung mga application nila. So pwede sila mag-complain.
For DTI's part, their goal is to establish a one-step registration to make it easier to apply for a license to operate for those who are planning to venture on a business. Harleen Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue, Pasay City.
And for the news abroad, here's Kath Dumaraos reporting live from Bangkok, Thailand. Kath, good evening.
Good evening, William. The U.S. federal government's raids of undocumented immigrants have caused anxiety and fear in many cities, including Chicago. The raids, which began on Sunday, mainly targeted roughly 2,000 Central American people in 10 U.S. cities who have been issued final deportation orders but remained illegally in the country. Beverly Sison explains why.
In Chicago's Little Village, a Latino immigrant community, it may have looked as usual, but for many in this area, there was a heightened sense of anxiety in Sunday morning. Chicago has long been considered a sanctuary where the city authorities and the police are not cooperative in sharing information with the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement or ICE officials. Despite that, many residents here remain deeply concerned. Nora Quinones is among those who fear a raid by ICE as she is an undocumented migrant and her husband was detained by ICE in May.
I'm a little bit scared because I have kids here. I have 6 kids, all U.S. citizens, and I'm afraid that one day I get pulled over too and be the same way as my husband. I'm afraid that I can go to the store and not come back.
Many people say the raids only affect immigrants who have deportation orders, but Gabriel Castro, an experienced immigration attorney of Tefapolsky Smith Melman LLP, based in Los Angeles, believes that is not the case.
Right now, they are targeting many individuals who have an order of deportation based off of not appearing
for an immigration court hearing. Many of these cases are eligible to be opened via motions to reopen by showing that the cases weren't giving the proper notice to be able to attend their hearing, and they were never given their day in court. They weren't giving that due process.
Meanwhile, 4 minority U.S. Congresswomen accused President Donald Trump of trying to sow division and distract attention from what they characterized as failed policies on immigration, healthcare, and taxation. Representatives Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar, Ayanna Pressley, and Rashida Tlaib urged the U.S. people not to take the bait at a Monday press conference.
This president does not know how to make the argument that Americans do not deserve health care. He does not know how to defend his policies. So what he does is attack us personally.
Trump suggested the 4 women, all U.S. citizens, can leave. He has defended his comments and denied allegations of racism. Addressing reporters, the 4 women, known as the Squad, all said the focus should be on policy and not the president's words. Beverly Saison, UNTV News and Rescue, USA.
After announcing a $30 million hack last week, Japan-based cryptocurrency exchange Bitcoin says it's discovered that another $2.3 million is missing. A report from Japan Today on Monday said the extra losses were discovered at exchanges outside Japan that were using Bitcoin's trading system and announced Sunday. The firm announced Friday that it had suffered a security breach arising in the loss of around 3.2 billion yen, or almost $30 million in cryptocurrencies. As a result, it halted all services, including trading, deposits, and withdrawals of all crypto assets. The platform's parent company, Remix Point Incorporation, said in an announcement soon after the breach that $23 million worth of the missing funds belonged to its customers. Mathematician Alan Turing, a founding father of computer science and artificial intelligence, was revealed Monday as the face of Britain's new 50-pound banknote. Jovic Burmas will tell us why.
Alan Turing was famed as a World War II codebreaker whose work was widely credited with hastening the end of the war and saving thousands of lives. But at the time, his achievements were overshadowed following his conviction of engaging in homosexual activity, then a criminal offense in Britain.
As the father of computer science and artificial intelligence, Alan Turing's contributions were far-ranging and path-breaking.
During World War II, Turing worked at Bletchley Park, where he helped to develop a machine that cracked the Enigma code used by Nazi Germany. His work also laid the groundwork for the modern computer and artificial intelligence. His famous Turing test is still used as a benchmark for examining whether a machine can be considered to be thinking.
His work prefigured the neural networks that are used today in applications such as cancer diagnosis, self-driving cars, and other applications, and will be used in yet undiscovered technologies of tomorrow.
After the war, Turing pleaded guilty to a charge of indecency related to his homosexuality and was sentenced to chemical castration. In 1954, at age 41, he died after apparently poisoning himself with cyanide. A beaten apple was found by his bedside. In 2013, after a lengthy campaign, Queen Elizabeth II granted Turing a royal pardon for his crime of homosexuality. In 2017, under legislation that became known as Turing's Law, Britain granted pardons to thousands of gay and bisexual men who were convicted of offenses related to their sexuality. New note expected to enter circulation at the end of 2021 will include an image of Turing, ticker tape of his birth date in binary code, and a table and formula from a 1936 paper that introduced the concept of how computers could operate. It will also include a quote from Turing: "This is only a foretaste of what is to come and only the shadow of what is going to be." Jovic Burmas, UNTV News and Rescue, London, United Kingdom.
And those are the news from the other parts of the globe. Back to you, William.
Thank you very much. Kath Dumaraos reporting live from Bangkok, Thailand. People belonging to the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender community is now accepted in the society, and there are important things to know about the LGBT community as well as the misconceptions about them. Let's find out why as Mon Hokson reports.
It is inevitable that we are living in an ever-changing world. And along with this, the society also changes rapidly. If before, there used to be only gays and lesbians, now there is the LGBT community, which stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender. But LGBT is just a shortened version. LGBT is really called L, G, B, T, 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 Q, Q, I, A+. The long acronym means lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, transsexual, two-spirit, queer, questioning, intersex, asexual, and ally. And the plus consists of pansexual, agender, genderqueer, bigender, gender variant, and pangender. Are you confused already? Well, we will try to explain this based on the people who admit they belong to this group. What is a lesbian?
Hi, ako si Jot. Isa akong lesbian. Pinanganak akong babae, pero feeling ko lalaki ako. At nagkakagusto ako sa babae.
Who are gays?
I like guys more than girls, but then that doesn't mean I won't like girls. There's a small chance for me, but it varies from a person to another. But for me, guys gets more attention than girls.
Bisexual is a different one.
Hello, my name is Myrene Enriquez and I am bisexual and asexual. So bisexual basically is that you are interested in both genders, romantically and sexually. But in my case, I'm also asexual. So asexual means that you don't experience sexual attraction. So you don't really want to be malandi or anything like that.
What about a transgender?
Hi, my name is Joel Tevez Gonzalez and my friends used to call me Carla, Aiko, or Julie, depende sa tawag nila. I am a trans woman because I feel like a woman, I feel like I'm born as a woman, and I invested money to become a woman.
But as time goes by, other gender and sexual orientations come out in the open. Janine admits that she is gender fluid or gender variant.
Basically, I'm non-conforming and I don't settle to call myself either female or male. And I'm somewhere in the spectrum of that. It's hard to make people understand this because some days I do feel feminine and I want to be a girl, but some days like today, I actually feel a little masculine.
Judith considers herself as a pansexual.
I am Judith and I am pansexual. So pansexual, pan is Greek for all. So to put it simply, it means that I love all. So essentially, I can love someone regardless of their gender expression or their sexual orientation. So whether you're trans or intersex or gay, straight, bi, whatever, I can love you.
Most of the time, these people are mistaken and treated unfairly. That is why it is important that a law to protect the LGBT community must be passed. Jean Cristobal is one of the many people who fight for the LGBT rights. She is a lesbian, and one of the problems they encounter is discrimination.
Ang sinasabi kasi nila pag human rights, marami kaming hinihingi. Actually, ang hinihingi lang namin kung ano yung nakukuha ng isang heterosexual. Yung pantay na oportunidad makapag-aral, makapagtrabaho, makakuha ng mga basic services.
Though it's hard for some people to understand them, we must accept them as part of the community if we also want to be respected for who we are. Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue.
And those are the reasons behind the news this July 16, 2019. On behalf of Alex Baltazar and Angelo Castro III, I am William Theo. And before we close, we will recap the today's significant sound bites. Because we need to know, we will always ask why. Good evening.
Since the president signed that law, it means that he recognizes the need for that law. And since he is the chief enforcer of all laws of the Philippines, he will be the first one to obey the law.
I already called the organization na tanggalin yung pangalan ko. Anyway, discretion naman nila yon, whether they put my name or not, no? Because that's their money. But more than anything else, one way or another, I would rather listen to the people and believing that, medyo may off nga. And there's nothing wrong with that in the first place.
Ang order na iyon ng DepEd to suspend these 55 schools ay walang in violation of the basic norms of due process. No?
Inaasahan lang namin yung pinangako siguro ni Piñol na yung sinabi niya na magbibigay siya at nagbigay na rin siya ng date na sabi niya ay June 28. Pero nagtataka lang kami bakit July na wala pa rin.